degenerates, and welcome back to another Smash Ultimate video. This one is going to be talking about the one and only Duck Hunt once again, and I'm going to be answering a very simple question for you guys. Probably a video you should be looking at first whenever you're considering playing this character, and it simply states, is Duck Hunt for you? Well, that's what I want to answer here. I definitely answer it a little bit in that old beginner's guide, but I figure might as well make a short little one summarizing what this character is, especially now that the meta has all this time to develop too. So consider this, if you want to play a character, or if you know somebody that's interested in playing them, send this along to them, give your thoughts on it, let me know if this was helpful to you. All the comments, the likes, they always help. So let's break into it. So got a little montage going on the back here by that Smash 143 guy. Always post really good montages. Kind of some highlights here of Rhino. But yeah, so Duck Hunt as a character, basically kind of unchanged meta-wise from how he acted in Smash 4. The thing that I mean by that is not necessarily tier placement wise, just because I think there's a lot of characters overall that are, I think there's more in this game that are more solid than him compared to the last one. But his overall effectiveness hasn't really changed. If you didn't really keep up with the Smash 4 meta, or the Ultimate meta, at least more towards the beginning, the best way to describe Duck Hunt is he's an all-around trap character that has tools that can handle every single situation that's thrown at him. He doesn't have too many matchups that he heavily wins outside of most of the heavies, and there's not too many matchups that he strongly loses either. In fact, I don't even think there's any matchup that he strongly loses in this game. Basically, your entire success with this character is going to come down to your execution and your game plans that you have against every single character that you fight. And basically how much you can abuse his tools and everything will change greatly depending on what character that he's fighting. One thing that's kind of interesting about him is that the amount of mind games that you play with him is kind of insane compared to a lot of the characters that you're going to be fighting. Basically, one of the things I can just describe right off the bat is just the way that you interact with Can. Can has different levels to it, so everything that you're seeing here is basically just high levels of Can gameplay. But at low levels, it's pretty different. I'm just gonna kind of pause this so I can state it a little bit better. So when you're playing Duck Hunt at lower level gameplay, it's pretty straightforward. Either there's some characters or some players that you're going to fight that just have an impossible time getting around Can, you just keep picking at them and they just keep getting hit by it, and then basically you can use it like that. You're not going to kill them early on, but you're going to kill them very late and they are not going to touch you. Then comes the part where they know how to deal with it and you keep spamming projectile too much and they just keep hitting you. So basically that's the point where you need to adapt to them, and then once the opponent knows how to deal with Can and you know how to deal with them dealing with your Can, then that's when you start getting third strike parry mind games going on. It's sometimes you want them to hit them to set up that favorable position for you, whether you're setting up extended hit stun for them or you're basically just they're knocking the Can in the way where it's going to ping in a direction that you want it to go later on. Things like that. It's just with the more experience that you get with this character, the more and more layers that you're gonna be able to stack onto it. Basically here, this is something where I could talk about, if you go to my Can guide that I have, the trick shot, as it's known as, that'll talk a little bit more about those different things that you can do with it. So at the highest level of gameplay, you'll have things looking like this, what Rhino's doing here. For example, getting a clay pigeon combo, which, if you want a character with big combos, this one is not going to be doing a lot of those, but he is capable of getting those. His up airs are able to chain together really nicely, and then his clay pigeon combos do 50% off of each one, or you're getting the stock off of it. And then here's actually a pretty good example of what it's like to fight just sort of a more campy playstyle where you just kind of need to keep yourself back. You also do have one of the best combo breakers in the game with the Can there. So if you like to kind of relieve pressure over yourself, that's one thing that Duck Hunt does grant. However, it's not really the best relief pressure tool, but it can save you from getting killed in a lot of scenarios. That's the other thing too here that Rhino's kind of demonstrating as well, is that you have a lot of unique combo options just because there's just so many different things that you can just kind of have out at once, and this whole thing kind of shows it. So I kind of give you an example if this style of gameplay is interesting to you. So Raito's kind of set up an advantage already just because he already had the gunman out to shoot and then he parried it right there. But while that parry was going on, he had the can set up. So basically he's cutting off the entirety of the jump option of the Fox player right here, because that way he can't from this position. So he's kind of like locked to stay under here, dash forward, dash back, or just shield. And Raito has full control of everything. He also had Clay Pigeon buffered out. And the other thing too is if that hits shield, it's going to bounce up over here, and that's going to cover jump too. So basically at that point, he can't run forward because the shots are going to hit him. He can't jump because the shots are going to hit him. And he's basically left in staying stuck in shield or just kind of retreating at that point. There's not much that he can do. So if you just like love oppressing the neutral and just controlling so many different things, this is the character that you want to play. Like, you know, he has access to summons right here within the form of gunmen. You basically have a puppet in the form of the can, which that can just do a lot of things. And then you also have like a multi-purpose tool with Clay Pigeon. However, that's mostly going to be used for advantage state, like once you get that hidden. But it can also lead for other things too. And, you know, he does have crazy combos with that too. He has probably some of the most freeform combos out of the entire cast, just because of the sheer amount of things that you can do with all those projectiles working in conjunction with together. So if you absolutely love being creative, this is a fantastic character to play too. However, there is one downside. All the stuff that he's doing right now, this is not easy stuff to do. Like, this is stuff that takes a lot of time and practice to really, really get down. Like, you know, for like the player like Raito, like what he does whenever he's fighting somebody, or at least like a high profile player, like someone that he's prepared for, he has like an entire notebook, and each page is like dedicated to a player, listing out like things they like to do with the character. So like matchup things, habits of the players too. Like, he prepares like crazy for them. Not saying that's like necessary to do at all times when you're playing this character, but like the amount of effort you need to put into him to like, you know, really see unlock his full potential and everything is quite high. And like when you get to like higher levels of gameplay, it's like you do need to put in all that work to really make the most of him. Like getting down how to play the can, to at least control it, isn't the hardest thing in the world, but like getting the timings for it, the positionings, understanding how to abuse it in like, you know, 70 plus matchups, that stuff is hard. And especially like learning how to adapt to different playstyles of the same character can be really hard too. Like, while some characters are fairly linear in this game, like your Palutenas, stuff like that, there's a lot of characters that do have quite a bit of flexibility to them, and just a lot of players will have different timings to the way that they do things as well, even with those linear characters. And if you're not prepared for things like that, you can just be blown up pretty easily as Duck Hunt. Just because like his disadvantage state is not that great in this game, or ever was. Like, he doesn't have a lot of tools to like really get himself down. However, like he can relieve pressure by doing those frame one cans. But if you already have it summoned, then you know you kind of lose access to it for a little bit. So, you know, there's a lot of foresight that you have to have when playing with him. Like, you have to think of like, okay, do I want to keep my can? Do I want to keep it in this position? Do I want to reset it? And then there we go. Good examples of like some good old Clay Pigeon stuff. And just like all these other things. So basically what it comes down to this: if you want a character that offers just a high amount of creativity, a high amount of flexibility with their gameplay, and just like a high form of expression, great character pickup. The other thing too is if you want it to be a difficult challenge, this is another character to play it. That doesn't mean that this character's bad. That far from it. This character's very good. Just because like the amount of tools and like variety that he has to him just does allow him to do a lot of crazy things that a lot of characters just can't really do. However, it's like, you know, like at top level has a good amount, like his gameplay and what he offers can be extremely effective. However, it's like to get to that point, that's what takes a lot. It's like high effort for high reward, but it's like each one of those exchanges that you get, you're mostly going to be getting like little rewards off of each little trade that you're getting. But of course, you know, if you can land those Clay Pigeon combos against like certain characters and whatnot, you can get like, you know, really big punishes. And his smash attacks are very strong too. Like down smash is fairly powerful, up smash is decently powerful. F smash kills ridiculously early. Like if you hit F smash at the ledge, you know, most characters you'll kill at 80%. And, you know, there's some that you can kill like as early as 60. Like one combo that you can do against fast followers is like Clay Pigeon to F smash, which that will kill at 60% when you land that. So, you know, he does have the capacity to kill very, very early. But, most of the time when you're playing as Duck Hunt, you're probably going to have your opponents, like, living to, like, 150. And, in some matchups, it's not uncommon to see them live to, like, 180 sometimes, too. The good thing with him, though, is, like, you will always eventually kill with Can. So it's, like, as long as you can just keep hitting your opponent, they will die eventually, just because of the nature of the way that his projectiles work, which is good, except for Clip Vision, that won't do it. Well, I can, as you see, there, got good DI, but the next Can basically should kill as long as he doesn't have to go across the entire stage. And, his aerials are really good too. He's able to space very well. Like, one thing I should point out is with Duck Hunt's Fair, to give you an idea how safe it is, when you space it properly, you can actually be completely safe against Game & Watch's up B out of shield. So, that's how good it could be in certain areas like that. So yeah, once again, to reiterate, if you want a very complex character with high forms of expression that can just basically control everything that your opponent is doing, this is a great character to play. However, if you want an easy solution to just kind of dominate your opponents and, just kind of like use him as a secondary, not think too much about playing him, this is definitely not the character to play. This character requires like a lot of thought and effort put into just maining him in general. If you used him as a secondary, I would definitely say just strongly focus on learning how to use him in specific matchups, and that way I think you could find some success with him. If you want to use him as like a heavy counter pick, like this is a pretty easy character to pick up for that. That doesn't require too much thought. The combo execution is fairly easy on those. But for certain other ones where it's like, it's like kind of like a more niche matchup, and if it'll require a lot more work, like let's say your character that you main is bad against rushdown characters and you want to use Duck Hunt because he has a better matchup against them, like those matchups do require a decent amount of work to get good at. So it's like in that case, like, I think probably picking up something like a Paladin or like a Lucida might be like a better choice in that scenario. But yeah, no, I would highly encourage you to play this character. I would encourage you to like really learn him. Like he's, at peak you'll get like results like Raito where, he got top 8 at both Evos. Also, you can do some really crazy things like White Husky. If you've never seen his stuff, like check him out on Twitter. Look at his montages. He knows how to do like some of the weirdest stuff with the can out there, and it's really fun to watch. Like you're basically watching a circus whenever you're watching White Husky. I'm not saying it's the most efficient thing, but it is certainly entertaining and really, really fun to pull off if you understand how those mechanics work. So that's gonna do it for this one. As always, if you do want to learn more about Duck Hunt, every single Monday I do those matchup critique streams, and most of the time it's going to be like 90% Duck Hunt with some K rule thrown in there. However, I will critique any character out there because I want to learn more about the game and I want to help you guys out as much as possible. So of course there's going to be another one happening this Monday, so stay tuned to that. Upload your VODs if you want me to look at them, and then follow me on Dawangthang on Twitch. Subscribe on here if you want to keep up with all the guides that I'll be doing. Again, as of right now, I'm going to be trying to keep up with a daily upload schedule. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, obviously depending on what goes on with my life in terms of like jobs and all that stuff. That could change up the way that I do things. But in the meantime, while I'm still furloughed from my current position, I'm going to be doing these daily uploads. Going to be a lot of Smash stuff. Going to be starting to stream a lot of other games too. So like whether it's other fighting games or just like other games that I'm going to be streaming, I'm going to be uploading those here as well. But I might upload things to an archive channel depending on what the content is itself. I'm always going to keep those critiques always uploaded here, just because like for a lot of your Duck Hunt players out there, that's kind of the best way to learn matchups and like how to play things properly. So those will always be here just for like Duck Hunt information's sake. But definitely I am going to be ramping up the theme park stuff. I did get a fabulous new thing commissioned by Muppet, so you can see those on the thumbnails pretty soon. And a lot more of those that content out there too, because I am planning to just work more in depth with the field, so definitely I want to just kind of do like my own theses and analysis and things of that, just to kind of keep my brain going with those things as well. Of course, if you always want to support me, you can check out the Duck Hunt Discord link below. A lot of fabulous shirts there. I am going to be making a mask for those as well, so that way when you go outside, you can have that with you, especially when you're here in Florida. Yeah, you definitely need that stuff here when you're living in this state. The other thing too is I will post a schedule of the games that I intend to go through. I have quite a big backlog, and I did pick up quite a lot from the whole sales that were going on just now from like pretty much all over the place. So I'll have those, and I probably will be playing with a lot of you guys on stream every now and then. I just got to figure out what games we're going to do. Probably we'll do some Smash with that eventually, but we'll figure out time to schedule all those things, and you guys will be the first to know. So please, if you want to support me, subscribe to me on here. Get stuff from the Duck Hunt Discord store. Also subscribe to me on Twitch. Once again, there is a sub goal that we do have. If we do reach 10 subs, I will make my matchup chart for Duck Hunt, so that way you guys can kind of have like a overall view on the way that you need to play different matchups and whatnot. It'll be a pretty good starting point on learning if you want to use them as a counter pick in certain things, or like what you need to learn for each matchup. And I'm glad I waited after this patch, just because, you know, a lot of things did change. So with that said, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys found this helpful. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys have been persuaded to play Duck Hunt, or dissuaded to play Duck Hunt if it doesn't fit the niche that you want it to be. But yeah, that will do it here, and take care of yourselves until the next one.